Hey, honorable chatter, would you like to take me home? Hell yeah, you do! Go to Kirsche.YouTues.com and enter the giveaway for a chance to win me. Well, my plushie form, anyway. Hit up Kirsche.YouTues.com and do all 4 steps. Follow Tues on X, visit Tues on YouTube, visit Tues on Reddit, and visit Tues on Instagram. Completing all 4 of these tasks will give you 4 entries for a giveaway to win your own Kirsche plushie. Hit up once again, Kirsche.YouTues.com. That's Tues spelled YOUTOOZ. Enter that giveaway, and good luck on keeping me stable. Not interested in a giveaway? Or maybe you just want to throw extra money at me so you have a spare plushie after you put one in a jar. Don't worry, because the plushes will go on sale Monday, November 18th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Look out for them. They'll get thrown through your window. Let's get into some meat here. We got a Mr. Fink article here. We gotta force the behaviors now. Don't say those words. Fink pushes BlackRock into high-stakes bet on private markets. The firm is now the world's second biggest infrastructure investor. Talks with HPS and Millennium follow deals for GIP and Prekin. Well, there's a lot going on here that I don't know what it means. You bet he eats the penis pasta. Probably, dude. Larry Fink turned to big deals to get BlackRock Inc. out in front of a decade of money gushing into index funds. Now he's doing the same to make sure his firm isn't left behind in the stampede into private assets. The longtime BlackRock boss has plunked down roughly $16 billion this year to become the world's second biggest infrastructure investor, and acquire the data needed to, as he put it, index the private markets. Now his firm is in advanced talks to buy HPS Investment Partners, one of the biggest players in the private credit, and discussing taking a stake in Izzy Englander's Millennium Management, one of the world's preeminent hedge funds. I feel like that's a bad idea. I feel like he probably shouldn't be allowed to, buy those. Private assets mean housing. A very bad idea. In the meantime, BlackRock told staff this week that it decided to wind down a strategy for long-term private equity, return capital to investors, and stop raising new money. And it's revamping the private credit and hedge fund units it already has. The moves are meant to position BlackRock to compete with the biggest players in the private markets, KKR & Co., Apollo Global Management, Carlyle Group, and Blackstone, from which BlackRock was spun off 3 decades ago. So that's interesting. That's interesting that BlackRock spun off of Blackstone, and now it wants to go back into the private sector and compete with Blackstone. Interesting. I'm no commie, but BlackRock should unironically have its wealth looted and redistributed. It's all to get ahead of the private market boom that its proponents predict could be on the scale of the passive investing movement that plunged many traditional asset managers into crisis and made BlackRock an $11.5 trillion behemoth. While people with knowledge of the matter caution that both the HPS and Millennium talks could end without a deal, they illustrate the ambitions of BlackRock's leaders to transform the company as it did at 2 previous critical junctures. In 2006, BlackRock acquired Merrill Lynch Investment Management for more than $9 billion, creating a firm worth about $1 trillion of assets. 3 years later, it acquired Barclays Global Investors for $15.2 billion at the dawn of the ETF era. With that one leap, it gained $1.5 trillion, operation from Germany to the UK, and put Fink's company on a path to become the biggest ETF provider in the US and Europe. Why did nobody think that this was a bad thing to happen back then? I wasn't old enough to be paying attention to any of this shit at that point in time. But what the fuck? 1 trillion ass hats, yeah. If Trump dismantles BlackRock, you'll support a giant golden statue. Hopefully Trump's SEC chair gives Fink a vigorous spanking. Hopefully, man. They give the 100 biddies cold acid. Money is flowing into private assets, and BlackRock wants to be in a position to capture that, said Michael Rosen, Chief Investment Officer of Angelus Investments, who recalled that he first met Fink in the mid-1990s during a client meeting about fixed income investing. I'd never bet against him. Fixed income investing sounds a little scary as well, because maybe they mean something else, but when I think fixed income, I think like welfare and disability and social security, like people who are on a fixed income. They mean people on social security? Yeah, like that. That's scary. That's who they mean, Jesus Christ. The investments provide higher fees and profits than benchmark ETF and index funds, of which BlackRock, by the way, manage 7.75 trillion at the end of September. While the firm already manages more than 300 billion of liquid and illiquid alternative assets, it's now seeking to offer even larger deals to insurers, pensions, and sovereign wealth funds that crave longer-term, higher-yielding investments. I've never heard of the term illiquid alternative assets. I've heard of liquid, obviously, but illiquid? That's a new word for me. Help! I mean, people who are very good at math and know their expenses reliably, so they have a fixed income with which to invest. I hope you are correct. Black crotch, true. I am not a massive financial brained person. So, like, I am not, this is not my area of expertise. I just wanted to learn about what BlackRock is doing. Illiquid alternative assets. Yeah, this would be a good thing to bring up when I talk to Alex again next, honestly. Tell Elon to tax them just now. It's now seeking to offer even larger deals to insurers, pensions, and sovereign wealth funds that crave longer-term, higher-yielding investments. Private markets are an increasingly central part of our clients' portfolios, a spokesperson for the New York-based company said in a statement. BlackRock has invested in growing our private markets platform for more than a decade. This positions us to deliver for our clients who continue to seek to do more with us. Our recent results reflect their confidence. Still, such buying sprees come with risks, even for BlackRock. The firm is spending money fast and taking on more debt to acquire private asset managers. It's often difficult to integrate cultures and narrow what can be a chasm in pay. I don't even understand like what this last part of the sentence means. Illiquid is used because solid can raise confusion with good. Ah, okay. Good, they should fail, right? BlackRock's compensation expense per employee was about $292,000 last year, while the biggest U.S. private market firms averaged roughly triple that. So, are they saying that BlackRock's employees make about $292,000 on average, but people working in the U.S. private market firms have triple that as their income? Am I reading that correctly? Sounds like BlackRock is underpaying. If I'm reading that correctly, that seems kind of astounding, actually. You say let them take 10 times even more debt and crush, right? It's not about the money, it's about sending a message. When they assessed the outlook for BlackRock's debt, Moody's ratings analysts questioned whether the size and timing of the deals would pose difficulties as they placed a negative outlook on the firm's AA3 rating, the highest credit grade among publicly traded asset managers. We remain concerned that the risks associated with absorbing and integrating two acquisitions will place strain on BlackRock's management resources. Although the firm's record in undertaking large acquisitions is good, Moody said in a November 10th note. Cute little icon. BlackRock's sheer size gives it a distinct edge, the power to buy industry leaders outright. Yeah, that is a distinct edge, but I don't think it's a good one. They make almost as much as VTuber stream, or they make more than I do. It's challenging for traditional stock and bond investment firms to catch up quickly in global private markets. Pegged at more than $13 trillion by McKinsey & Co. Hey, we know that name. Fundraising takes months, if not years. Investments can last 5, 7, or even 10 years. Public pensions, family offices, wealthy individuals, and sovereign wealth funds generally demand lengthy track records. As part of its $12.5 billion deal to acquire global infrastructure partners, BlackRock set up a $650 million retention pool to keep GIP's dealmakers happy. GIP co-founder Adebayo Ogunlesi, one of BlackRock's largest individual shareholders, is set to join the company's board, with a major say over strategy. Its chief operating officer, Raj Rao, is a member of BlackRock's global executive team, and other senior GIP investors landed large paydays and lucrative incentive packages to stay. To some people with direct knowledge of the firm, the deal was something akin to the arrival of billionaires within its employee ranks, where compensation has sometimes lagged behind rivals in private markets. Many of BlackRock's existing infrastructure employees are part of the 600-person infrastructure investing division that's now known as GIP, a part of BlackRock. Oh god, my arm is like spasming. McKinsey pushes the bullshit studies to slip DEI and ESG into everywhere. McKinsey has connections to Justin Trudeau and members of his cabinet. Coincidence? I think not. I'm tired of these fucking made-up bullshit studies, man. Cold ass, thank you for the 100 biddies. Raj, it's actually so over for BlackRock. In addition to its October 1st purchase of GIP and its pursuit of HPS, possibly for more than $11 billion, BlackRock is also scooping up Preqin Ltd, the private market data firm, for £2.55 billion. It has joined with Partners Group Holding AG to create new baskets of alternative assets, including private equity and credit for wealthy investors. All of these deals may help boost BlackRock's bottom line. Alternative funds charge higher fees than passive index funds and ETFs. In the third quarter, liquid and illiquid alternative assets totaled about 2% of the company's assets, but management and performance fees accounted for about 14% of total revenue. That could help the firm meet its goal of doubling private markets revenue by 2028, possibly even by the end of next year. Overall, BlackRock now manages roughly $450 billion of alternatives. Clinching a deal for HPS, which oversaw $117 billion of assets at mid-year, would add to the total. Man, what? They falsify studies like sex sells as a fallacy. Go too far the other way, you get communism, which is also guaranteed economic collapse. This is just a lot of salad of big money dollars getting run around. BlackRock's past efforts to buy and operate private market firms haven't always been so smooth. Take Tenenbaum Capital Partners, a credit firm that had about $9 billion of committed client capital when BlackRock bought it in 2018, before the industry gold rush took off in earnest. While BlackRock had said continuity was key to the transaction's success, 3 of 5 senior Tenenbaum partners have left and a 4th is in the process of doing so. Tim O'Hara, BlackRock's global co-head of credit at the time, departed in 2022. James Keenan, currently global head of private debt, is also exiting after about 2 decades at the firm. BlackRock's effort to grow in secondary investments also have faced setbacks. 3 of the company's top executives in that part of the industry decamped in 2022 to Apollo, not long after helping the firm raise more than $3 billion for such transactions. On Thursday, senior BlackRock executives told staff that the long-term private capital strategy will now focus on returning the remaining cash in the fund, about $1 billion, to investors. The strategy fell well short of the earliest fundraising target of about $12 billion. The firm decided to pull the plug on a second vintage of the fund, according to the memo from President Rob Capito, Chief Operating Officer Rob Goldstein, and Brent Patry, Global Head of Equity Private Markets. There's a lot of information to take in an area that I am not so versed in. Back then, rich people competed by spending money and commissioning artwork. Now they compete by buying up everyone's houses. Not even kings were like this? I guess so. The GIP deal was structured differently than previous acquisitions, with its $115 billion of infrastructure assets. GIP's senior management team is now in charge of BlackRock's combined infrastructure investments, including the roughly $50 billion BlackRock already managed. GIP, which is expected to bring in $1 billion of fees in 2025, is raising its 5th infrastructure fund, targeting $25 billion. That would rival the $28 billion raised last year by Brookfield Asset Management. BlackRock and GIP also struck up a new partnership with Microsoft on one of the biggest efforts ever to bankroll the build-out of data warehouse and energy infrastructure behind the boom in artificial intelligence. Acquiring HPS could bring even more of the top names in private markets in-house at BlackRock. Founded in 2007 by Scott Kapnick, Scott French, and Mike Patterson, the firm bought itself out of JP Morgan Chase & Co. in 2016, a deal that valued it at almost $1 billion. A deal with Millennium could be mutually beneficial. BlackRock would get a piece of one of the world's biggest and best performing hedge funds, buying it instant credibility in that industry and making it the first outside investor to own a stake in the 35-year-old firm. How can they buy, right? Like, are they not worried about monopoly stuff? Does like monopoly stuff not apply to them as an investment firm? Because like I always thought that there were laws against companies being able to buy so many of their competitors and stuff in the same field. 400 billion in assets. Not one department is investigating. They somehow skirt antitrust laws? Yes, somehow. How? Monopoly laws do not apply if you can buy the government agencies that deal with antitrust. I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point. Circumvent the rules if you have enough money. Yeah, screw the rules. I have money. Antitrust doesn't matter when you're butt buddies with those in power. Unfortunately. Government doesn't use the laws for that. They only threaten using them to get the company to spend money on lobbying, aka bribes. Jesus Christ. Why was there no investigation on this? I don't know. How is B.R.I.G.E not RICO? Oh man, my arm is steadily getting worse, chat. I'm getting like lightheaded. No. It ended its standalone alternatives investing unit last year, setting up separate equity capital markets and private debt units. Then, as part of the announcement of the GIP acquisition, BlackRock's head of equity private markets, Edwin Conway, said he would leave. The firm revamped its private debt business in September, announcing Keenan's departure and the establishment of a new direct lending unit. Earlier this year, the asset manager told employees about its plan to rejigger its business of investing in hedge funds. What is rejigger? I've never heard of that word before. What does that mean? What is this? Paste. Search. Rejigger, dictionary, verb, to organize something differently or rearrange. He rejiggers his stump speech ever so slightly to fit the crowd. Chat, we're rejiggering! I feel rejiggovated! Redo or rework. We're learning so much from this one article. Stop saying that word! What? We're learning, Nim! Rejigger its business of investing in hedge funds. About 2/3 of its roughly $75 billion of hedge fund assets at mid-year were held in direct BlackRock funds, with the rest in external funds that the company evaluates for clients. The new initiative, BlackRock Hedge Funds, is being led by Philip Vasson, who came to the company in 2016 from Credit Suisse, where he ran prime brokerage financing for hedge funds and institutional investors. That was a lot of information. That was a lot of information. I think I need to send this article to Alex and have him give like a little I'm an economist dissertation on this.